Jerry Brown here with Jerry Brown Travels.
Lori here.
Okay, we want to give you an update what's happening here in Cambodia with the scare, and everybody's frightened about the coronavirus. The news, it's being blasted, constantly here and everywhere in the world. And now with the coronavirus, it's just amazing. The businesses are really going through a shock because businesses are down like 40, 50, 60, 70, 80%. So, and more closer to the 80% of decline in businesses there. It's amazing because when you walk around the streets, as we walk around,
it's so quiet.
It is so quiet. The streets, you look down the streets and you look, and they look like nobody there, just a ghost town. Now there's the local people are there, but usually when you look at a street, typically it's filled with tourists walking around, sightseeing, coming in and out of stores and that. And you don't see that today. You see just empty streets. And so it's really amazing. The other thing that's happening as you walk around, you see buildings and businesses that are closed. What they have is they have these steel roll-up doors, and then they roll up and go down for security, and they're all locked up. You just go one street after another street, you see all these businesses that are locked up because
a lot of them is locked up.
The other thing that happens here is what's a real shock is the restaurants.
Yeah, the restaurant is so total, like almost empty.
Yeah, they are. You just go by one restaurant after the other one after another, and you look in there and you walk through them, totally empty. And so it's amazing. The people who are working there are standing around. They invite you to come in. They want you to come in. They need the business, and some of the employees of the restaurants have to lay off their people. They don't want to do that. Some of them are letting their people take a leave of absence without any pay. And so the restaurants are just hurting. What we're going to show you is these restaurants here that is on Pub Street. And Pub Street is a very, very popular street here.
Yeah. It's usually very crowded and very, noise, all dancing, singing, and, pop dancing. So,
Yeah.
But now it's so quiet. It was so scary. So the business was very slow and very affect them.
Yeah, so it's startling to see that. I'm talking to some of the business owners, and they just said, we hope we can hold on because hopefully this will pass. They, in these type of places, they have a high season and they have a low season. They says this is beyond the low season. But you figure if they're 80% off, it's just really shocking.
Yeah.
We were in Angkor Wat, and Angkor Wat is one of the wonders of the world, if you don't know. It's one of the most popular things to see in Cambodia. And we were there. There just was hardly anybody there at all because the Chinese can't come. And typically what's happened now through the world, and mostly through Asia, the Chinese make up for a lot of the tourism, and since they can't come in, it's going to be scary what's going to happen here. One of the other things that happens here is when you walk the streets, you see the Tuk Tuk drivers. A Tuk Tuk is a little motorcycle, like a little motorcycle taxi, huh, Lauren?
Yeah.
And so they take you around because there aren't any tourists, and they have so many of the drivers that used to be able to handle, the amount of tourists that would come in, and well, they're not coming in. So you just see them sleeping in their little tuk-tuks, waiting, a group of them waiting together, and you walk by and they say, tuk-tuk, tuk-tuk, they really need your business. Well, what the problem is here now is, see, before you couldn't buy things unless you had cash. You couldn't buy things on credit. And in the last 5 years, they've opened up, the banking system has opened up, and they are loaning money to buy, motorcycles and, buy homes, fund things, like phones, and they're financing phones. So they're financing just about everything. But the interest rate is really expensive.
Oh,
now,
man.
the bank is asking somewhere around 18 to 20% a year on that there. So what's happened is these people want to have nice things, and they buy, something like a motorcycle. They want to buy stuff for their children, and so maybe buy a Tuk Tuk and start a business. And so what's happening is that they're got themselves into trouble. So that's really compounding the problem here. What's the other problem is you walk around, you go into the open market, the outdoor market, which is quite popular for tourism. You'll see typically tourists will be walking through there. They are looking for souvenirs, they're looking for clothes, jewelry. What are some of the other things, Lori?
Oh, mostly it's clothes, jewelry, silver, all that kind, the household use, the thing like that, like a toy you can bring back to your family. But now it's so quiet.
I have these little beauty shops here, and what's happening is they're closing. They can't afford to pay the rent because they're not having any business. So you see all the stores that are closed. Usually everything is open and working really hard with all the tourists and even the local people, and they're afraid to come out and use these services because of the threat of having the virus. So it's an interesting phenomenon here as business are having to shut down because they can't afford the rent. They can't afford to stay open. So people are just hanging out, basically doing nothing because they cannot get customers to come in. One shop after another, they're closing. Everybody's bored, everybody is panicked, and it's a really rough situation here, where before these places would have lots of customers, and luckily this lady does have a customer. You don't see any of the tourists buying stuff. It's the local people that are buying there. So that's another thing. There's just all these things that are just happening. It looks like say 10, 12 years ago when we came here, Cambodia wasn't really known like it is today. Today it's a very exotic country to travel in, and so a lot of people around the world have found Cambodia. So, but when you walk around, what were you gonna say?
Well, I wouldn't say it's 10 years ago it's Cambodia just get very, very popular until now, and then coronavirus come in, it's wipe the popular out. So, wow, I was so scared to get stuck here too.
Yeah, right. So, wow. So there's just so many things, and we just wanted to bring to your attention. We're not saying don't travel here. In fact, actually, it's great in one regard. I mean, like I said, you don't have to worry about crowds. Things have dropped in prices. The hotels have dropped their prices. The restaurants have dropped their prices. Tour companies are dropping their prices because they need the business.
Yeah.
So on the bright side for us that are here, we're benefiting from this.
Yeah.
And so, but definitely we're not saying don't travel here. In fact, we'd probably say come and travel because it's not a panic like you would think. Now again, everybody's taking precautions. They're washing their hands. They're wearing a mask. Yeah, they're doing all of that to protect themselves. And so, but I think it's actually has blown up beyond. With the news, I'm just afraid that the news creates the problem and they create the scare. Yes, it's valid in the sense that the virus is out there. It's affecting people's health and everything. But I have a feeling a lot of times that the news creates more of a problem. And so we're not seeing it as a difficult thing here. We were here, and before the virus came about, and actually Lori was in the hospital, and we have a video on that if you want to see that, and we talk about that. But she was cleared and didn't have any problems with the virus. And so, but again, please come and enjoy, Cambodia, and don't freak out, don't be afraid, don't overreact. And well, that's an update from our side here. So.
Yeah, so we want to tell all of you is update. So
this has been Jerry Brown.
And Lori here.
Hey, Lori, we should ask them to subscribe.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you watch our video, and please subscribe if you're not subscribed yet. And we really appreciate subscribe or thumb up, so appreciate for that. And see you in the next video.
See you. Bye.
Bye.